Cancers, this is Leah with Half Moon Tarot. I will be doing your November 2022 reading. I've already meditated over the cards and asked that Spirit bring whatever you need to hear, know, expect, and be prepared for. Okay, so in the meditation, the Three of Cups comes out, followed by the Seven of Coins, followed by the World card. Okay. And I really feel like for some of my Cancers out there, there has been a lot of comparing, going back and forth in yourself and the work that you put in and the things that you are getting back. I don't think that there is so much of a comparison with you and the existential world. There's more of a comparison of what I feel like I'm putting into it. I don't feel like I am being given back that amount, right? So the work that I feel like I'm putting in towards my goals, I don't think that I am getting as much progress as I should, okay? The self-care that I'm putting into myself, I don't feel like I'm getting back as much confidence or self-esteem as I should, right? And really the Three of Cups and the Seven of Coins comes through very like superficial. Everything is a top layer. There's no depth to it. So when we're looking and the World card has a window looking in, right? Somebody's looking into the window and we're on the inside. So that is an indication to me that it comes from an internal standpoint instead of an existential standpoint. But the superficialness of it all says something as well, right? Like almost as if to say you're putting in the bare minimum, so you're receiving the bare minimum, okay? For instance, going into the space of I'm putting in self-care, I should be getting back some confidence, I should be getting back this, that, and the other. And Spirit comes in and says, everything you're doing into your self-care routine is very superficial, right? You go get your hair done, you go get your nails done, you go to the dentist and get your teeth whitened, you take yourself out for lunch and drinks and things of that nature, but you haven't done anything internal, right? You haven't taken care of the childhood traumas. You haven't taken care of the accountability level that you have to take, okay? So yeah, it's gonna feel empty because you're putting in empty work. And if you want something to, if you want to see the return on something that you're putting into it, the thing that you put into it has to be deep, and it might be difficult, but the payout on the other end is greater, okay? The work that you're putting into your goals is superficial work, right? If your goal is to be a business owner, entrepreneur, right? The work that you're putting in, the paperwork, the LLCs, the bank accounts, all of that, yeah, that's cool and that's a foundation, but what is the work that you're doing? Is it deep work, right? What kind of business are you putting out there? Is it a superficial business or is it deep business? Right? Is it a business that creates deep bonds, deep relationships, deep networking, all of that? Or is it something that you can just get quick money on because you see it as a quick money opportunity? So what you put in is what you're going to get out. And until you work on the internal portion of yourself, that's all you're going to get out is the superficial stuff. All right? Okay, let's go into the reading for my Cancers for November 2022. Oh, baby, this is definitely a water sign reading, okay? All cups came out. All right, let's see. Let's see. We got the Five of Cups, followed by the Ace of Cups, followed by the Knight of Cups. And I could really like tie this into the meditation really, really well with the depth that we talked about, right? Emotions are considered the water portion of our elements, right? And when we look internally, the water element in our body is the blood, right? So it is reaching every single part of you, okay? Also about water, it is very resilient. It doesn't take no for an answer. Water never takes no for an answer. And it will make a pathway. It might take a long time to make a pathway, but it will make a pathway for itself, right? It will squeeze itself into places. Water cuts rock naturally, right? Water cuts earth naturally. So it finding a space and place is not an issue for water. That's how deep it is. That's how reliant it is. Okay. And when I'm looking at this, it's like you have to use your water. You have to use your knowledge, because water is extremely, extremely intelligent. You have to use your water and you have to use your knowledge in order to start a new pathway. Okay. Now, this may not tie into the meditation. This may be where somebody's coming into this reading and being like, yes, yes, okay? It might be time for you to start something new. Start a new journey. Start a new business. Start something, all right? And the thing about it is, any of these cards could have been any of the other elements, right? Fire, go in with a passion. Pentacles, go in calculated. Or air, go in because you have the power of the tongue, right? Go in and speak your way into it, mantra your way into it, manifest it through your mouth, right? But in fact, these are the water cards, right? And they want you to take it a little bit deeper. When you start that new thing, don't, like I said in the meditation, don't start it because you think it's going to be a money grab. Don't start it because you think it's going to come easy to you. Start it because it has a depth there. Okay? And then also, when you start something, the Five of Cups is coming through and saying when you start something, you have to know when to start to let other things go. Okay, so this could really come from a deep space, and maybe your whole goal on the other side isn't to bring this to the world, isn't to start a business, but really it's here for me to build this relationship with myself. It is here for me to get that confidence and self-care that I need, that I really need. It is there to essentially make my world a little bit more peaceful and a little bit more easier on me, okay? And I use that word easy in a context of releasing and letting go, okay? The detachment there is easier for me to do, okay? So we're letting go of things that no longer are as deep to us as we thought they were, right? We can look now at those relationships or those situationships and be like, damn, that wasn't even that deep, okay? And we can detach from those things, because you cannot stay attached to something and then want to get attached to something else that's ahead of you, right? Because now the past and the future are wrestling with your present day, which then takes me into the meditation of you trying to find that balance, that comparison, right? So you are still attached to something of the past, and you're being attached to something of the future, and that is messing with your present time, which brings in that imbalance in your emotions and brings that imbalance in your mental health and the internal comparing and trying to figure out why isn't anything going the way that I think it should be. I'm putting in the work, like what? And it's like, you got to get deeper than that, because the depth will allow you to detach from what's holding you back so that you can fully attach to what is happening in front of you. Okay? And once we get that concept, then we're going to become in alignment with ourselves. Okay? And the Knight of Cups comes in and it talks about reflection, reflecting back. And when you reflect back, you notice your achievements more than you notice the things that make you cringe, or you notice the things that make you disappointed. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that made me disappointed, but look at who I became on the other side of that. Yeah, that's a little cringy moment, but look who I became on the other side of that, right? Look at all the things that I have accumulated, things as in skills and wisdom and knowledge about myself because of that situation, because of that relationship, because of that job. Okay? So when you are reflecting back, Cancer, make sure you're reflecting back on your accomplishments and where they came from, right? Because once you start to reflect back on that, then where they came from, the root of the accomplishment, won't feel like a failure. It will start to feel like a win. And we can start to detach from the failure portion and attach to the win. Okay? All right, so the next card that comes out is the Eight of Wands, followed by the Ace of Wands, okay? Now, this whole process that we've been talking about, you know, we go into it with so much like vigor and push and like, yes, this is something that I'm going to do for myself. And in that same breath, you have to know that there will be some type of compromise. You have to know that with detachment comes compromise. So what the overall goal is, when we attach to that win, we detach from something that, like I said, no longer serves the win, right? And in that could be a whole process in itself. Okay? And as long as we are not fighting ourselves, the detachment will be a more easy go than trying to fight ourselves on it. Okay? And for those of you that get it. Okay? Because I don't know exactly what you'd be fighting yourself over, but those of you that get it. I think you're going to get deeper into your studies, whether that be in the Bible or the sutras or self-care books or whatever is going to serve you. You're going to get more into that. It could even be audiobooks, whatever it is, you're getting more deeper into that, because those things are going to allow you to reflect on yourself and your accomplishments and the root of those accomplishments. Okay? So getting more into that space of reflecting back, and that's how we get deeper and deeper into our I want to say self-care, but I also want to say we get deeper into that change and shift that we think we've been putting work into, but what we're getting back doesn't match that. Okay, so this is how we get deeper into the work that we put in so that we can have that bigger payout. The Ace of Wands comes in and says, once that happens, there's so much alignment happening. But the Ace of Wands comes in and says, you're strong in that alignment. The wands are very strong. It's like stalks, you know. It's hard to break them. It's hard to stop. Right? Stop the growth, because even wands represent fire. And once a fire gets going, it is hard to stop it, right? Like the wildfires here on the West Coast, it's hard to stop them once they get going. So you're going to be in such an alignment with yourself that the passion is going to put you forward. Now, remember I said any of these cards could have came out in the other suit, but it's directly meant for you. Okay, with it being cups and the water signs. Okay, and then here comes the Ace of Wands, and it's like, yeah, it could be in any other suit, but let me let you know that once you are in alignment with yourself, nothing is going to be very, very hard to stop you. Okay, almost nothing is going to stop you from achieving what it is that you want to do, from accomplishing what you want to do. I know achieving and accomplishment are the same thing, but you got to use different words, different language, different people, okay? So it's going to be very hard to stop you, Cancer, once you start doing that deep healing. Last card is the Tower card, okay? Now this ain't no bad thing. This ain't no bad thing, okay? The Tower card talks about like growth, crazy growth, okay? The Tower card is often seen as something that is crumbling, but what they don't see is the tower had to grow in order for the ground to crumble. Right? So in order for a house to be built, they have to do what? They have to break ground. Okay? So what people see as this horrible thing and it's crumbling and it's breaking, no, those are things breaking off of us. Those are things that are breaking around us. We are in a space of growth. We are being built when the tower comes, right? So this all ties into not only the meditation, but the first few minutes of this reading. It's like, if you want these big things to come to you, Cancer, you got to be willing to do the big things. You got to be willing to break ground. You got to be willing to break that shell around you so that we can get into those deep, vulnerable parts so that you can go into a different space of growth, okay? We have the ability to renew ourselves, not every year, not every day, but every single hour, every single minute, every single moment that passes, we have the opportunity to break ground. Okay? So if you're wanting to get into alignment, if you're wanting to be hard to stop, and you're strong and 10 toes down in what it is you're doing, you have to be willing to grow. And you got to be willing to go through the bullshit in order to get there. Okay? All right, Cancers, that has been your November 2022 reading. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me, and I'll see y'all next month. Bye.